Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold. And as you can see, I'm not streaming from my typical basement studio setup. I am on the road, as I said yesterday. I have a loved one going into surgery today. Prayers would be appreciated. This episode is going to be pretty short. This is a pre-record, by the way. I don't even know how long it's going to go. I just have a couple things I want to rant about, basically, and then like maybe 2 or 3 little stories, maybe 20 minutes. We'll see what happens. But I definitely want to get my thoughts out there because there's such an obvious but interesting psyop that's going on, and everybody's falling for it. And people are throwing their principles completely out the window. They're being ran on their emotions, by their emotions, and while it's kind of funny to watch, it's a little bit concerning. So we're going to talk the cancel culture thing one more time. Hopefully this will be the last time, but I doubt it. But before we do any of that, let's get a quick word from the sponsor of today's show, and that's me and Badlands at Self-Disclosure.
Deodorant should do more than cover you up. It should protect you all day long.
Dude, the deodorant stick is legit. I like the mint one. And, you go work out and you kind of get like, you get funky if you work out. Dude, like at the end of my workout, like I'm sweating, shirt got all those sweat. Like I'm like, dude, I still smell good. Like I absolutely love it. If you guys haven't tried it, try it.
That's the difference with Soft Disclosure. No aluminum, no chemicals, just clean, natural ingredients that fight odor and keep you fresh through every workout, every meeting, every moment.
I've always struggled with the you can't use aluminum deodorant because you're going to die if you use it kind of thing, because all of the non-aluminum deodorant products suck pretty much. Yeah. This is different. This is all day. You're all day good, and you're not putting any of that disgusting chemicals right near your lymph nodes.
Soft Disclosure deodorant, real protection, real freshness, built on truth. Available in mint and lemon grapefruit. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off.
Soft Disclosure. That's an amazing commercial. That's the first time I've seen that. I was thinking throughout, I was like, am I going to be in this thing? Am I going to be in this thing? And I wasn't until the end. She got the whisper in there, and that is hilarious. I made a deal with, I think it was Blasted Genetics yesterday, that if he bought some lotion, I wouldn't whisper Soft Disclosure for a week. But I think I need to put a caveat on there that if it's a recording of me whispering it, like that commercial, it doesn't count. So you still have to buy the lotion. But yeah, guys, check out the products. They're awesome. Anyway, so let's have our little discussion here about the recent developments in the cancel culture. I feel like the last week or so, I've tried, starting last week, I think it was Friday's episode, I made my first case on why I wouldn't be participating in the cancel culture, right? I explained, I mean, it's these people saying these awful things. They're awful people. I think they're mentally deranged. I have no sympathy for them. If their employers find out about what they say, I have no issue with them getting fired. That's commonplace in business. If your values do not line up with the company's values, there's a separation that takes place. And I think that's totally justified. I'm just not going to be the one that, actively seeks out these people that I've never met before that are saying mean things on the internet, and I'm going to get them fired. As disgusting and as abhorrent as I find what they're saying is, okay? That is not the approach everybody's taking. And there is a clear push from the Con Inc., from the right, the people that we have been calling out and fighting against for a long time. They've found their issue to rally the support back to them on. That's what this is. Con Inc. has been the problem, keeping us in the entrenched political, like elections are fake, whatever, but we're going to participate anyway. They're the ones that have been holding us and Trump back for so long. And they're using this successfully to a degree to get everybody back on board, back in line. And we're falling for it. And this is the problem. This is why I'm taking the stance I've been taking publicly and calling some of this out, especially a lot of the hypocrisy, which is so easy to find. I'm going to play a Matt Walsh clip, a little bit of it, a Pam Bondi clip here. And if you just go back a few years, they've said something completely different. It kind of proves that these people aren't actually operating on any principles at all. There's an op at play here. That's the problem. And the main reason I want to focus on this stuff too is, since I woke up in 2021, and I guess I didn't wake up before then, but when I started participating in the social media game and putting my articles out there and all that stuff, there's been I don't want to say clear enemy, because I don't think we fully know who the deep state is, but there's at least been an enemy, a target, and the deep state, the establishment, whatever you want to call it. Like the enemy has never really been the people on the other side of the aisle. Heck, for a long time, a lot of us in this movement have been saying that we just need enough of those people to wake up and realize who the enemy is for us to unite and work against them. And that's my mindset. Like the people on the other side of the aisle, they have their beliefs and their thoughts and the things that they say. And I think a lot of it is from mainstream media brainwashing. And it's more a matter of breaking them out of the spell than it is destroying their lives. That's where I'm coming from. But I think a lot of people have lost sight of that. And I know there was a line crossed here. The assassination was a terrible thing, and we don't even know the full details of it yet. And I feel like we're getting sucked right back in to the way things were back in before Trump, during Trump, the Biden years. A lot of the things we're doing now is no different than what the left did to us, even though Matt Walsh came out and tried to justify it. Let's just play that video. Actually, let's start with we'll do this in order of appearance. This was the first one that came out yesterday. I'm gonna share my screen here quick. I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so let me share this. This is Pam Bondi yesterday, and this is where it gets really concerning. There we go.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people, so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle. There's free speech.
So what you said there, there's free speech and there's hate speech. That's retarded. And the fact that she even put this video out there, I mean, there's a couple ways of looking at this, but I'm going to take let's just pretend she's being serious here, and she actually believes this. And I'm not sold that that's the case. It may not be. That she may be doing her own little counter op here, and I'll show you why I think that in a little bit. But just at face value, what she said there, that's not even true. Hate speech does not legally exist in America. And Charlie Kirk himself pointed this out back in 2024. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. But this video by Pam Bondi is what concerns me, because I feel like we are on a slippery slope, and this is why I've taken such a stance against this, is because I feel like I see where this is going. Like it starts with just getting this. It starts with the social consequences and getting these people fired from their jobs, and then it keeps going and going, and all of a sudden we are actually infringing on people's First Amendment rights. And it's not going to stop with just these people. It's going to come back and they're going to do the same thing to us because they were trying to do it already before. There's a great quote that I pulled from George Washington's farewell address, and it kind of talks about this. Let me pull this up. The alternate domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge natural to party dissension, is itself a frightful despotism. We are going to get stuck in this revenge politics, going after each other. How many times have we said that these people want us divided? We're getting sucked right back into that. And here I thought we were on the verge of maybe breaking out of it. But no, that's not true. But what I thought was funny is I went and looked at Pam Bondi's old quotes. And back in 2021, Trump sued all the social media companies. And Pam Bondi was part of the legal team or whatever that was strategizing on how to fight back. And this is what Pam Bondi had to say back then, 2021.
So I was here just to explain just a few things. And you know what Jon said, this is about our Constitution. This isn't just for conservatives. This is for our media. This is for everyone out there, about censorship. This is for Democrats and even progressives whose speech should be protected under the First Amendment. So I was here just to explain
She believed in the First Amendment then, regardless of party. Now she's talking hate speech. Matt Walsh then yesterday comes out and he put this. I'm not going to play this whole video. It's like 6 minutes long, but I'm going to play a little bit of it, enough of it for you to understand what he's saying here. Because remember, keep in mind who this guy is. This guy's got thousands of episodes out there. I think he does just an episode a day. He's been doing it for years. And as Chris Paul would say, this is the #1 producer of trans content in the world. He's with the Daily Wire. All they talk about is the left and their body parts, their sexual orientation. Now, obviously, he's coming at it from, we're told, a side where he's going against that ideology. And he has been for a long time. But he also is focused on the cancel culture. Just type in Matt Walsh cancel culture online, like any search engine, and you'll find hundreds of episodes where he is decrying cancel culture, calling it a cancer, all these different things. He's been very adamantly against cancel culture. But now it's just, now there's a caveat to it. Take a listen.
There is a fundamental difference between the cancel culture that the left engages in and the quote unquote canceling that the right is doing in the wake of Charlie's assassination and the left's celebration of it. The difference is that the left will cancel you for saying objectively true, good, and normal things. To the extent that the right cancels you, it'll be for saying objectively abhorrent, perverse, and sick things. And this distinction matters. As I've said for years, the problem with the left's attack on speech is not just that they're attacking speech, but that they're attacking true and right speech. They want you to be fired for saying, for example, that men can't have babies and women don't have penises. The problem isn't simply that they're trying to get you fired for saying something. It's that they're trying to get you fired for saying the most basic and true things that it's possible for a person to say. The left's war on speech is not a war just on speech. It's a war on truth. They want to punish truth. And that will always be worse. Obviously, significantly worse. There is a difference in kind between the statement, men aren't women, and the statement, Charlie Kirk deserved to die because he was a fascist, Nazi, racist bigot. What's the difference? Well, the first statement is the most obviously true thing that anyone can ever say. The second statement is a demented, deranged, perverse, sick, evil, wicked, horrendous, outrageous lie that not only smears the good name of an innocent man, but also implicitly encourages violence against the millions of people who agree with his politics.
You see what he did here, though? He has changed from like being the staunch defender of the First Amendment to, well, see, the cancel culture that they did against us was bad. But the cancel culture we're doing against them isn't as bad because at least we were saying true things. And the stuff they're saying is really, really mean, and we don't like it. And it is. It's awful stuff. I'm not trying to like justify what these people are saying. I'm just trying to stand in the principled argument for the First Amendment, which apparently people don't know what that means anymore, including Matt Walsh himself. Take a look at this video. Oh man, where'd I put it? Hold on. This was Matt Walsh back in, I think it was 2023. And again, I could have found hundreds of clips like this where Matt Walsh makes a better point than Matt Walsh just did. He completely contradicts himself. But take a listen to this. When it comes to the type of speech, even as abhorrent as it might be, and as much as we might disagree with it, it does not matter. It's still protected speech.
Nobody has the right to be free from the bigoted opinions and views and attitudes of other people. That's the whole point of the First Amendment. It protects speech that you think is good. It also protects speech that you think is bad. And as everyone says, but few seem to really believe when it comes down to it, the First Amendment is really only ever needed for that latter category. If the First Amendment does not protect speech that people find abhorrent, then the First Amendment effectively protects nothing at all. Our fight against hate is underway, Harris says, as she sits sternly at her little desk. And
I should explain here. So Kamala Harris came out and did this little video, and the Biden administration was they were gonna fight Islamophobia and hate. They were basically taking a warlike posture, as Matt's about to say here, against hate speech, which Pam Bondi just came out and talked about. And this guy spent months, maybe even a year, discussing how like hate speech isn't even a real thing. And I'll show you a couple posts here in a second after I finish this clip of why what Pam Bondi said, I hate it. I think everybody's going to unite and be like, yeah, that's wrong. But I think she did it potentially to hijack this op that we see unfolding right now. I'll show you what I mean here in a second, but let's finish this clip.
in front of the American flag, we have a strategy that's comprehensive and detailed, she declares. On social media, Kamala Harris went further, saying, this action is the latest step forward in our work to combat a surge of hate in America. Well, hearing a sitting vice president talk like this about American citizens is unsettling, to say the least. This is the kind of language you normally hear our leaders use when they're announcing a targeted strike against terrorist cells in the Middle East. And now that language, once again, is being turned inward against American citizens. The Biden administration is on this warlike footing against its own citizens. And what could possibly justify this, you might ask? Better be something good. There better be a reason for this kind of hostility and brazen disregard for the Constitution, and in particular the First Amendment. But no.
The point he made at the beginning is the right point. Like, people are allowed to say what they want. It doesn't matter if we don't like it. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. It's still free speech. And now there's kind of been a little moving of the goalposts. Well, you know, the some of the stuff that people are saying is inciting violence. And I find that to be interesting too, because that's a difficult barrier to prove. And Trump himself argued against that when they tried to impeach him and then criminally prosecute him for what happened on J6. Remember, they tried to get him for inciting the insurrection. And his arguments in that case were, no, like, this was protected free speech. This didn't impact anybody's actions to go and do anything. Like, when I have some time here, maybe I'll actually go through some of the arguments that Trump's side made, because this is a fight that we've already been through multiple times. Trump defended free speech, his free speech, against the incitement accusation. And now that's the justification we're using, our side is using, to go after these people on the left. And it's just, it's wild to me, because like, I almost feel like I've even seen a couple social media posts where people are like, man, I thought you were a leftist for a second looking at what you're saying about this stuff. I just assumed you were a liberal. When I'm not. I don't consider myself a liberal or a conservative. I guess I've called myself a conservative, but I'm really just America first. And I'm just a staunch believer in our actual constitutional rights. And we are on a slippery slope where we're going to find ourselves losing those things. We are never going to break out of the forever psyops unless we can recognize the psyops when they're in our face and stop participating in them. And everybody is falling for it. It's like the past 4 years where we've been talking about 5G warfare and all these different things. Everybody's thrown it out the window, and we fell for another mass trauma event. And we're doing exactly what they want us to do. It's amazing. This is what Matt Walsh said this morning, or maybe this was last night after he posted the video. Is that screen up? Yeah, okay. There should be social consequences for people who openly celebrate the murder of an innocent man, but there obviously shouldn't be any legal repercussions for hate speech, which is not even a valid or coherent concept. There is no law against saying hateful things, and there shouldn't be. So now he's switched the ball here. Moved the goalposts, and it's just really about the social consequences. He wants to socially damage the people on the left. A tactic that he decried for years when they did it to us. But now that the shoe's on the other foot, it's okay and it's justified. Even though back then it didn't matter what people said or how bad the things people said were. They have the right to say it. Now it's about the social consequences. And here's the thing. I don't disagree. I'm just not going to participate. People who say awful things and are awful people, they're going to have consequences. Karma's going to catch up to them, and I'm going to have zero sympathy for it. But what I think Pam Bondi did here is she threw a wrench in the whole op, which would have ultimately ended in actual infringements on our rights. And Matt gives the game away with this post here. This is really outrageous and infuriating. We're already having a lot of success fighting back against the leftists celebrating Charlie's death. We don't need Pam Bondi swooping in to throw the entire conversation off the rails by completely missing our point and having a hate speech crackdown in the name of Charlie Kirk, man who absolutely rejected hate speech laws, is especially grotesque. You know how Trump will do that sometimes? He'll co-opt some of the ops that these people are doing or get out ahead of it and totally throw it off the rails and not even allow it to really take place. After seeing this post this morning, I didn't see it last night, and I had a moment of like, oh my gosh, Pam Bondi is actually doing this. Like, what is going on? I'm more so thinking now is it's possibly an opt to derail the whole thing. But at the same time, I don't trust anybody in Trump's administration outside of Trump. I trust Trump. I don't think he's going to allow, things to go too far off the rails, but that doesn't mean we need to just watch this stuff play out in real time and let everybody fall for the psyops. Because I don't trust Pam Bondi for a second. I don't trust anybody in this administration. I don't know any of them. I don't even know Trump for that matter, but I followed the guy. We've recognized what he's done over the last decade and how he operates. We know he's conducting psyops. He hasn't really gotten involved in this fight yet either. He's letting it play out. But just keep in mind that my main point here is keeping in mind who the real enemy is. And it's not necessarily the left. There are awful people on the left. It's going to be difficult to coexist with them. But the enemy we've been pointing to for the past 4, 5, 6 years, whatever, has been the deep state, the establishment, the globalists, the people who have pitted us against each other and kept us divided this whole time. Think back to how many times you have said yourself or have supported people talking about this, the fact that we just need to wake up enough people. And from the other side, enough people will be red-pilled. And once you get red-pilled, you don't go back, right? Now the people that aren't red-pilled or don't agree with us online are the enemy. And that's everybody's rallying around them being the enemy. And I don't think that should be the case. And last thing I'm going to point out here, and then I have like 2 or 3 clips real quick, is this post I got yesterday. So I talked about the TPUSA and getting the texts. I feel like it's a little icky that I'm getting fundraising requests. TPUSA hasn't disavowed these, so I don't know if they're genuine or not. They appear to be genuine. I feel like somebody sold my data to TPUSA, and it just feels icky on the heels of this. And I get this post in response. I don't know who this account is. I looked and they interact with a lot of, the Q accounts and whatnot. So I feel like I've interacted with this guy before, maybe. I don't know. But this is what he said. It says, lots of people disagreeing with you these days. Probably time to do some soul searching. And when I read this, I almost couldn't believe it, because this is a leftist tactic. This is what the liberals do. And this is now what the right is doing to the leftists. I responded saying, as if people disagreeing with me is a sign that I'm wrong, much less a problem with my soul. Lots of people disagreed with me when I chose not to take the vaccine. Should I have done some soul searching then too? Basing your worldview on what is most socially acceptable makes you a sheep, and a retarded one at that. And that's, I stand by that. People think like, oh, you need to do what everybody agrees is the right thing to do. You need social consensus. You need social permission before you can say things. And because people happen to disagree with you, you're wrong. And you need to do some soul searching and figure out why you're wrong and why you are the way that you are. Just completely antithetical to the entire Great Awakening movement. Had everybody done that, only done what was most socially acceptable, we'd all be vaccinated. We'd all vote Democrat. We'd do whatever the mainstream media tells us to do, because that, for the past 5-6 years, they're the purveyors of truth. They're the ones who've manufactured all this consensus. There's so many things that would be backwards. Just a completely ridiculous take. I couldn't believe I actually saw it. And yeah, it just dumbfounded me. So I wanted to share you that. But anyway, I do got to get rolling here, guys. So I want to play 2 clips. One I'll play in full. About 5 minutes left here. Let's listen to this. Ash posted, just after they told us the suspect wasn't cooperating, they discovered the confession in Discord. What luck for the investigation. Have they found the magic suitcase yet?
All right, breaking right now, reports of a confession posted on Discord from Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin hours before, after the murder, but hours before his father turned him in to authorities in Utah. This is Washington Post reporting on this at this point. Justice correspondent David Spunt joining me now live from Washington. Hi, David. What can you tell us?
Hi, Martha. About 2 hours before he was turned into authorities, this according to the Washington Post. We are working to independently confirm this as well, but the Washington Post says that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect charged in Charlie Kirk's murder, confessed, and I want to read this according to the Washington Post, writing on Discord, that social media chat group that the FBI says he used, quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." This coming from the Washington Post. Now, this comes as DOJ officials began late last week and over the weekend looking at the potential for at least one federal charge. No guarantee they'll get there. A department spokesperson declined comment, but a source familiar said investigators are not ruling anything out at this time, especially his online gaming presence, his chats, as we just mentioned. Who was he talking to?
There you go. Got the confession. It's weird, though, because the way they're talking about it makes it seem like it was deleted or something, and they just believe that the post was there, and they're still trying to prove it was there. I think we'll see. We'll get more answers on that, and I'd elaborate more, but I am in a little bit of a rush. Last thing I'm going to play here is a video from Trump. Do you plan on designating Antifa a domestic terror organization?
Given all the that's going on with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the left wing, violence going on, do you have plans? And actually, this is a great opportunity with all these. Do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can make up?
There are other groups, yeah. There are.
Very interesting. Back in March of 2020, Trump posted on True Social or Twitter, I don't remember which one, that he was going to be designated Antifa a terrorist organization. And then again, the day before January 6th, so January 5th, 2021, he ordered an assessment as to whether to classify Antifa a terrorist organization. I wrote about this in my Devolution series. To me, this was like heavy signal that he knew January 6th was about to be a false flag. But yeah, Secretary of State shall, in consultation with the Attorney General, Secretary of Homeland Security, review info received from the DOJ and other authorities to assess whether to classify Antifa as a terrorist organization. And it never went anywhere, obviously, especially under the Biden administration, but nothing new. Anyway, guys, so yeah, apologies for this being kind of a rush show. It's shorter. I didn't get a chance to like fully flesh out my thoughts for a lot of the stuff, especially the cancel culture. So I may actually have more comments on this in the future, depending on how things play out. It's very early in the morning right now. It's 9:30 Eastern, so 8:30 Central my time, and I'm just wrapping up the show. But again, I really feel like people are getting sucked into a psyop, and I if there's one thing you take away from the show, it's to remember what our goals are, what our goals have been the past 4 years, who our enemy is, and the last thing we need is more government attempting to infringe upon our rights, even if they're the rights of people that we think say really bad things. We just got to be careful. You know, another comment I saw online the other day was, or maybe it was yesterday, it was somebody's like, well, John, do you not think people should be punished for their crimes? Like, what are you, has your opinion changed? And I think people are just, maybe I'm not doing a good enough job clarifying my thoughts, and I can even show you. Yeah, here's the comment. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding you recently, but it seems like ever since last week, you've been implying we have to take some sort of high road once again. Apologies if that's not what you mean. I followed you for a long time. And even before that, I can't follow where you're going lately. Now it's almost as if you're saying Republicans shouldn't take any action at all against the crimes committed because it's like revenge. How does this all get fixed in any way other than accountability? I've never once said that crimes should not be punished. They absolutely should. Absolutely should. But we're calling for social punishment on things that aren't crimes. We have shifted our focus from going after the people who've committed legitimate crimes to people saying mean things on the internet. And that's the psyop. We've lost focus. I absolutely believe people who've committed crimes should be punished for them, and there should be accountability. And I think that's hopefully coming. You know, we haven't talked about the Russiagate or Spygate or any of that stuff in a long time because of this recent psyop. But no, that is not at all what I'm implying. I'm simply defending the First Amendment right for everybody. And I think cancel culture is disgusting, and I won't participate in it. And if you guys choose to, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just, that's not for me. And I do believe it's a psyop. Anyway, I got to get out of here, guys. I believe I'll be doing a show tomorrow. I don't want to guarantee it. It kind of depends how things go. Please pray for my loved one here for the surgery. And yeah, I'll see you next time I see you.
0, 1, read all about it. 2, 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.